The night air is thick with tension as a Ukrainian recon unit crouches silently in the dense undergrowth. Their eyes, trained by months of brutal conflict, scan the horizon for any sign of movement. In the distance, the faint rumble of engines grows steadily louder. Sergeant Petro adjusts his night vision goggles, his breath catching as he spots the first flickers of light through the trees. "Contact," he whispers into his radio, voice barely audible above the gentle rustle of leaves. Large convoy approaching from the east. At least 20 vehicles. The response crackles back, terse and focused. "Understood. All units, prepare to engage." Across the countryside, hidden Ukrainian forces tighten their grips on weapons, adrenaline surging through their veins. Javelin teams nestle into hastily dug foxholes, their advanced missile systems primed and ready. Drone operators hunker behind makeshift command posts, fingers hovering over launch controls. The Russian convoy emerges from the tree line, a long snake of armored vehicles and supply trucks stretching as far as the eye can see. Headlights cut through the gloom, illuminating a narrow dirt road. Their only path through this treacherous stretch of Ukrainian territory. "I count at least 5 tanks, Petro reports, his voice a low growl. "Multiple BTRs and Christ, those trucks are loaded to the brim with ammo crates." A low whistle comes across the radio. Jackpot. The lead vehicles lumber forward, unaware of the net closing around them. Ukrainian artillery crews, positioned miles away, receive coordinates and begin their final calculations. The air itself seems to hold its breath, waiting for the storm about to be unleashed. Petro's earpiece crackles once more. "All units, you are cleared out. I say again, you are cleared hot." Light him up. For a heartbeat, the world remains perfectly still. Then, chaos erupts. The night sky ignites as a barrage of artillery shells arcs overhead, their whistling scream growing to a deafening roar. The first impacts send shockwaves through the earth, shattering the convoy's lead vehicles in a hail of shrapnel and flame. Before the Russians can even process what's happening, Ukrainian drones swoop in from above. Like birds of prey, they dive towards their targets, releasing their payloads with deadly precision. Explosions blossom along the length of the convoy, each blast adding to the inferno. Javelin teams spring into action, their missiles streaking across the battlefield in blazing trails of light. Tanks erupt into pillars of fire as their armor is breached, turrets thrown skyward by the force of internal explosions. The night is transformed into a hellscape of fire and twisted metal. Russian troops stumble from burning vehicles, disoriented and terrified. Many fall before they can take more than a few steps, cut down by the relentless barrage of Ukrainian fire. They're trying to break for the tree line. Petro shouts, tracking a group of soldiers fleeing on foot. "Don't let them escape." Ukrainian machine guns open up, their staccato rhythm joining the symphony of destruction. Tracer rounds crisscross the battlefield, cutting off every avenue of retreat. The Russians find themselves trapped in a killing field of their own making. A massive secondary explosion rocks the entire area as one of the ammunition trucks detonates. The fireball rises hundreds of feet into the air, briefly turning night into day. The shockwave flattens trees and sends debris raining down 4 miles around. Petro ducks instinctively, feeling the heat wash over him even from his hidden position. When he looks up, the center of the convoy has been reduced to a smoking crater. Burning wreckage litters the landscape, casting eerie shadows in the flickering light. The radio comes to life once more, this time with a note of urgency. "All units, be advised, we're picking up chatter. Enemy reinforcements inbound from the north. Beta, 15 minutes. A chorus of acknowledgments follows, tinged with a mix of determination and grim satisfaction. They've struck a devastating blow, but the night's work is far from over. Petro scans the burning remnants of the convoy, his jaw set in a hard line. "Understood, Command. We'll be ready for them." As if in answer, the distant rumble of engines once again reaches their ears. But this time it's not the slow grind of supply trucks. The sound is sharper, more aggressive, the unmistakable roar of Russian armor racing to the rescue. Ukrainian forces melt back into their hiding spots, reloading weapons and repositioning for the next phase of the battle. Drone operators launch fresh aircraft, their cameras seeking out the approaching threat. The fires from the destroyed convoy burn on, casting an orange glow across the countryside. It serves as both a beacon and a warning, a testament to Ukrainian resolve and a grim portent for any who dare to follow. Petro settles back into his observation post, eyes locked on the horizon. His voice is steady as he reports to command. New contacts sighted. Multiple armored vehicles, moving fast. Looks like they're bringing everything they've got. The response is immediate and unwavering. Then we'll just have to take it all from them too. A grim smile flickers across Petro's face as he readies his weapon. The night is still young, and Ukraine has no intention of backing down. As the sound of approaching vehicles grows louder, the tension in the air becomes electric once more. The trap is set. The hunters have become the hunt, and in the darkness of the Ukrainian countryside, another battle is about to begin. The Ukrainian commander's voice is barely a whisper as he radios headquarters. Convoy sighted. Permission to engage. The response crackles back. Affirmative. You are cleared hot. As if choreographed, the Ukrainian soldiers spring into action. Javelin teams set up their launchers on ridgelines, overlooking the road. Drone operators ready their explosive-laden quadcopters, fingers hovering over control pads. In the distance, artillery crews load their guns, coordinates already dialed in. The convoy is heavily guarded, bristling with mounted machine guns and escort vehicles. But here, on this open stretch of road, hemmed in by thick forest, they're exposed, vulnerable. The Russians have no idea they've driven into a carefully laid trap. Minutes tick by like hours as the Ukrainians wait for the perfect moment to strike. The air itself seems to hold its breath. Soldiers exchange meaningful glances, years of training distilled into this single, pivotal moment. A faint glow on the horizon signals the convoy's approach. The lead vehicles come into view, their engines a low rumble that grows steadily louder. Ukrainian fingers tighten on triggers. Drone pilots lean forward, intent on their screens. The commander's voice cuts through the silence. Now, in an instant, the night explodes into chaos. Javelins streak across the sky, leaving fiery contrails in their wake. They slam into the lead tanks with devastating precision, turrets blowing skyward in plumes of flame. Before the Russians can even react, a swarm of drones descends upon them. The small aircraft dive like angry hornets, detonating their payloads against fuel trucks and ammunition carriers. Secondary explosions ripple through the convoy as stockpiles of shells and rockets ignite. The night sky blazes orange, casting grotesque shadows across the battlefield. Panic shouts in Russian mixed with the staccato of small arms fire as soldiers desperately try to return fire against an unseen enemy. Ukrainian artillery opens up, their shells arcing high before raining down with pinpoint accuracy. Each impact sends shockwaves through the earth, shattering windows for miles around. The convoy is caught in a steel storm, with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Russian troops scramble from burning vehicles, only to be cut down by precisely aimed Ukrainian fire. Those who make it to the tree line find no sanctuary, as hidden snipers pick them off one by one. The battlefield is an inferno. Twisted metal carcasses of what were once mighty war machines litter the road. Ammunition cooks off in deafening cracks, sending deadly shrapnel in all directions. The air is thick with acrid smoke and the copper temps of spilled blood. For what seems like an eternity, the slaughter continues. Ukrainian forces methodically destroy every vehicle, eliminate every pocket of resistance. They are relentless, fueled by a determination born from defending their homeland. As the last echoes of gunfire fade away, an eerie quiet settles over the scene. The convoy, once a symbol of Russian military might, now lies in smoldering ruins. Ukrainian soldiers emerge from their positions, moving cautiously to secure the area and tend to any wounded. The commander surveys the destruction, his face grim but satisfied. He keys his radio to report back to headquarters. Convoy neutralized. All targets destroyed. But before he can continue, urgent chatter erupts over the comms. Intelligence reports are flooding in, painting a dire picture. The commander's eyes widen as he processes the information. He turns to his troops, voice tight with renewed urgency. The job isn't finished. Another convoy is inbound. Larger, heavily armed. ETA. 30 minutes. The soldiers exchange weary glances, but there's no hesitation. They've tasted victory, and the fire of resistance burns bright in their eyes. Without a word, they begin to reset their positions, check their weapons, and prepare for the next wave. As dawn breaks over the horizon, casting its first pale light over the carnage-strewn battlefield, the Ukrainians melt back into the shadows. They are watchful. They are ready. The next Russian convoy rumbles in the distance, unaware of the fate that awaits them. For the defenders of Ukraine, the long night is far from over.